All right, we're going to call our city council meeting into order. Today is Monday, August the 12th. We'll first have an invocation and a pledge of allegiance. The invocation will be given by Reverend Michael, I can't read the writing.
Michael will suffice.
Michael, yes, thank you. Thank you, Brother Michael.
The last name is Precht, which is a good German name that no one can pronounce.
Yeah, I thought it was a D. I couldn't tell, anyway.
Before I offer a prayer blessing for this council from Psalm 72, I want to offer, on behalf of Fairhope United Methodist Church, our condolences and our grief with all of the city of Fairhope for the loss of Captain Hamrick. When I walked into our offices on Thursday, the grief was palpable. He was known as a great friend of the congregation, not only personally, but as a partner in the work we're all trying to do for the great good of this city. Our grief is with you, our hope as well. And I'd like to begin by a moment to commend him to God before I pray a blessing over us gathered here. Receive into your mercy, O Lord, your beloved servant. And now, O Lord, receive this blessing for these before us and all us gathered. Words that were offered, the coronation of Solomon, as a blessing for this council and its work from Psalm 72. Lord, give your judgments to this council, your righteousness to them as well. Let them lead your people with righteousness and your poor ones with justice. Let the shores bring peace to the people and the rivers bring righteousness as well. Let this council bring justice to those who are poor. Let them save the children of those who are needy. Let them crush oppressors. May their judgments last and be worthy to last as long as the sun, as long as the moon, from generation to generation. Let their decisions fall like rain upon fresh-cut grass, like showers that water the earth. Let it be so because they deliver those who cry out, the poor and those who have no helper. Let their compassion on the needy, their salvation of the lives of those who are in need. May they redeem all lives from oppression and violence and recognize that life is precious in your eyes. Let their reputation last forever, their name endure as long as the sun. Let all the nations be blessed through the city of Fairhope, and may they call us happy. Bless the Lord's glorious name forever. Let his glory fill the earth. Amen and amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, council. If I can get someone to give me a motion to approve the minutes for July 2nd, 2024, regular city council meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Report of our mayor.
So, Council President, we need
Yes.
to amend the agenda. Did you have something to add?
Yes, we need to add, I was going to do that one. We need to add the number. There's a resolution for 29. What do we come to? 29? Yeah.
29.
So that's to declare an emergency?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to add that.
I move to add an agenda item 29, to declare a water emergency.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? So if you were not here, and be brief, but we'll talk about it more when we get to it. But we had a discussion about our water, so we're adding a declaration, resolution for emergency declaration into the agenda. And we'll talk about that more when we get to it at item number 29. All right, report. Oh, did we vote on it? Did I vote?
No.
I didn't vote.
Motion and second.
I got a motion and a second. Thank you. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Lisa. Okay, now we're back to the report of the mayor.
I really do not have much of a report tonight. Just want to really thank the council, the city staff, for loving on the police department the way you have. It's been a tough day for everybody, and our city staff really rallied. They helped put on the lunch after the service today, and the police department just did a great job planning that service along with his family, with John's family, and just a real tribute to the services. Was a real tribute to who he was and the impact he's had on our community. So thank you for your support. Thank you to the city staff and the police department and just our community as a whole for loving on us as a city family and for loving on the police department and his family. If I heard from one of his family members today, I've heard from 10 of them just saying how much easier it made this time for them, knowing how much he was loved in the community.
Yes.
So, and it's just made it easier for his family to be able to cope. So thank you for everything you've done, and again, thank you to the city family for their just love of the police department.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am. Thank you for doing that, Mayor. Really appreciate that. All right. Okay, we have public participation for agenda items 7 through 29. Anybody that want to speak on agenda items 7 through 29, please come to the podium, say your name, your address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, council, mayor, staff. I'd like to second the Pastor Preck's consolation and condolences for the loss of Captain Hammett. He was a good man. We're all hurt by his loss, and his family and his co-workers and colleagues are in our prayers.
Thank you.
My name's Daniel Dias. I live at 218 Rock Creek Parkway. Lived in Fairhope the vast majority of my life. Most of you know me. My company, Dias Construction Management, submitted a bid. This is germane to item number 15, the resolution to award bid number 24053, the John Martin Nature Center, which is my uncle's old house, aunt and uncle's old house on our family property there, which was conveyed to the city, which many of you know that history. We submitted a bid for that renovation work, and we're a licensed general contractor here in town. And if you accept both of the ad alternates, we will be the low bidder, and it would only cost you another $20,000 to get the standing seam roof that staff and the city obviously wanted initially, which it would cost you a lot more than that to buy a standing seam roof if you buy it later. So we would appreciate you considering awarding both ad alternates along with the base bid to us as the awarded general contractor on item number 15. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir. Questions, council?
No.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else for agenda items 7 through 29? Anybody else? All right, very good. All right, council comments.
Just thoughts and prayers with the police department and for the family, for John's family, and it was a somber but great celebration of life today for Captain Hammer. Thanks for everybody that was there. Thanks for those that contributed to the lunch and the staff. There's a lot of people involved, so. Pretty sobering day today. Pretty sobering week.
I'll just reiterate what Councilman Burrell said, prayers for the Hamrick family, and certainly will miss Captain Hamrick greatly. Good guy, good man.
Yeah, obviously echo the same sentiment. We lost a very valuable member of not just our community, but of our Fairhope employee family, and that's always very difficult. And so our prayers are obviously with his family and with his employees, co-employees. Just a tough situation.
It is a shame, but, our thoughts and prayers are with his family, and it's just a tough deal. I really hate to see it.
It's been a long day, guys. We're handling the business of the city, but at the same time, we had a lot going on today that always supersedes these superficial things that we call of this world, that we call business, because life was involved today. So, it's good to always prioritize and have a idea of what falls in order and what order is. So we will always put life before business. Make sure you love on your people. Make sure you love them every time you see them. Make sure you kiss on them, hug them. Don't take anything for granted. One of the good things that I saw about today was the love that John brought to everybody, to the community, and how the community came together. And I loved it. I mean, I saw it. It was as bright as you can get. The connectivity, the unity, the togetherness. You saw all of that today because of life. And that's what it's all about, my people. So, God bless you, John. We love you, buddy. All right. All right. Okay. We have a public hearing. Hunter, is this you? Who is this? Yes. Okay.
We need to introduce the ordinance.
Yes, please.
I'll go ahead and introduce the ordinance.
Thank you, Councilman Burrell.
Thank you, Council President. It's getting increasingly difficult to follow the proceedings of the meeting, so I'm going to jump right into a zoning change, and this is the first reading, so traditionally these are held over after this meeting until the next council meeting. There's no urgency involved, so following those procedures. This is a request to rezone property from R2 medium-density single-family residential to B3B, which is a tourist resort commercial district. This is not within the CBD. Instead, this is across the street. So on the left-hand side, you see a version of our zoning map. Church Street is the boundary of the CBD, and everything on the east side in the map there, just that block happens to be B2, is Central Business District. Everything on the west side, the left-hand side, as you're looking at it on the screen, is outside. However, you do see B2 R4, which is a medium-density multifamily zoning, and then the dark blue, as you move down to Magnolia, is B3B. And the request here, this is the only property that remains within that block of Church Street as R2 single-family residential. Existing structures shown on the survey and the image, it's been recently under renovations. The B3B is intended for a range of commercial and resort residential districts, uses. That table 3.1 is our use table you've all are familiar with on what is allowed, representative by right as a black dot. A white circle is something that has to have approval through our Board of Adjustment, and then blank are uses that are not allowed. The current property is a 6-bedroom home with 5 bathrooms. The immediate request was to wanted to build a garage in the back with a unit above to be used as a short-term rental. With any zoning request, we don't consider exactly what is being proposed, because any use that comes with it, we have to consider the what-ifs. So somebody could tear it down, change the house, existing house into a 6-bedroom hotel, all of those things. So we did not show the plan. I do think and I want to put this in the minutes, and kind of the way we made the recommendation. There's some conditions, but I want to explain this a little bit. There are different uses within that use chart. Single-family home is one of those things, hotel, other things. There is something called short-term rentals that are allowed in various districts. That is kind of an overriding use. So right now, the home could remain. Any new structure could be allowed to put in a short-term rental policy, but there is no automatic conversion of the single-family home to what in essence could be a default 6-bedroom Airbnb. That would be a change in use. They would have to get the appropriate business license. We would have to review it. It would be an allowed use, but you would have to handle the parking and things that go along with that. So just turning that into another Airbnb, bed and breakfast, whatever you want to call it, is not, this does not give that permission by right. There would be some requirements that have to be met before that happens. And some of that can depend on the size and the scale of what the review authority would be. So with that said, we do recommend approval. Planning Commission also unanimously, with a vote of 6-0, voted to recommend approval to the council of this with 3 conditions. We, regardless of the allowed uses in 3.1 of the Fairhope zoning ordinance, we did strike the following uses, and they shall be prohibited on the subject property. We've advertised this way based on some future rezoning or previous rezoning requests in the central business district or nearby properties. So since we've advertised those, I believe we could strike if there was any that the council did not want. The second one is the current use is a single-family residential structure. Any change in use shall meet all applicable laws and regulations at the time of application. And third, add no parking signs along Church Street. That was something recommended by the Planning Commission coming out of that. We don't have any parallel parking, and you're seeing a lot of that. It really has nothing exactly to do with this case, but we thought we'd send the sentiment forward, and if we need to help facilitate that, separate from this zoning request, we can certainly do that. But with that said, this is before you as a recommendation. If there's any questions from me, I'm here if you have questions. I don't see David. I don't know if the owners are here. David Martin was the one applying for this, and I don't see him here tonight. So if there's any questions, I can answer them.
Okay. All right. We'll open the public hearing at this time. If anybody's here to speak on this particular ordinance, please come forward. Public hearing is now open. All right. Okay. We'll close the hearing, and we'll let this lay over. Good.
Council President, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
Not pertaining necessarily this, but to have that many restrictions on that zoning kind of tells me we need another zoning. I mean, that allows for short-term rentals, that keeps, you know, it residential, but doesn't allow for all those business purposes.
I 100% agree, and as well as kind of clear up some of the lodging tax scenarios where the state allows 6 months, but, you know, lodging tax be collecting anything 6 months or under, but our short-term rentals 30 days and under, and that's very confusing for people. So we are working on some different zoning districts that would allow that clarification.
I think they're changing the laws on the short-term rentals and the taxes on them, right? There was
But
something.
it just as a rule of thumb, just if we approve this with those recommendations, I mean, we shouldn't have to make 12 exemptions to that.
And I frankly don't like that situation.
To me, down the road, it could get messy.
Yeah. And that's where we can look at some different options. It may be that a little bit more clarity in the conditional uses may be the way to go on some of those. Central Business District is always a little difficult because there's all these underlying zonings that, you know, some things are just not appropriate in downtown.
Well, in 20, 30 years, that may be CBD. You're only talking about moving it one street.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I would typically not recommend we have a lot of restrictions on a zoning case. That's not, you know, something we want to make a major pattern of, but being in the Central Business
It's
District.
not monkey science.
Yeah.
Is it wrong for the city to, if you do come up with a zoning, because I know you have so much free time to write that.
Sure.
If you were to come up with something that would be agreeable, could the owner apply to be rezoned again, just kind of clean it up?
Sure.
Would it be
If
wrong
it's a
to
new
ask them to do
zoning.
that?
Yeah, I mean, the timing is probably a challenge for the owner. You know, that could take some time. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to make a worse mess, and I think, you know, with a comp plan coming, I think there's some critical decisions we need to make
I
before
was
we
thinking
make that.
5 years down the road or something.
Yeah, yeah. But anyone can come and reapply.
Yeah.
For a zoning. I mean, they could come back and reapply there's a couple of these that we were questioning at the staff level, but they could, I think, always come back and ask for one of those conditional things to be removed. If there was, that would just follow the same rezoning patterns. We advertised it that way and remove that condition if you so see fit. So same could be said for a different zoning district.
Thank you, Hunter.
Thank you.
All right, you're back up.
I'm back up. Yes, sir. I think this is another public hearing, so if someone would like to introduce this one.
I'll
You still want to
introduce
introduce
the ordinance.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. So moving to the other side of town, you're familiar with this property. This is on Highway 181 at the Rockwell LLC. Tim Lawley with Sawgrass is here with us tonight. I believe also saw Bill Mitchell with the development side. And I'm just going to jump to this is one lot. This is the property, Publix is across the street. The Encounter development is to the south. This is Rockwell. So this came in, we had a previous agreement on this one. There's apartments being built on the western or eastern half of the property approximately. We are accepting Bushel Drive. There is an agreement out there for that. This is the rezoning case. This annexed in along with the right-of-ways within the last 2 months. This is the rezoning request that we talked about then. So this is a request to B2, and it's for the approximate 10 acres fronting 181. It's currently R1. It came in as a straight annexation because of that agreement. But we acknowledged then that the request would be coming for B2. So with that said, this is a little bit of a warped plat. It got distorted, but that's the acreage. We didn't have any restrictions on this one. That is more corridor for commercial and B2 type properties. And there is a subdivision case that will be in front of the Planning Commission this month. to split that 10 acres into smaller lots. So with that said, we do recommend approval of this with 3 conditions. Each site created in Lot 1 shall have a mandatory site plan review. That's capitalized review within our zoning ordinance. It's not a public hearing, so a little quicker process, but it is reviewed by the Planning Commission and City Council. We do request an update, and this can happen at the staff level, an update from MaDOT on the completion thereof of the Rockwell Boulevard and Highway 181 connection prior to further subdividing or applying for any permits. This was 2 to 3 weeks. This was a condition that made it through the Planning Commission, so 2 to 3 weeks per June 12th. So that's kind of the time frame we're looking at, and we're waiting final word from the MaDOT. So there's also a third condition to provide a schedule for the completion of the apartments and the portions of the roads that will be public as soon as possible and prior to applying for any permits. So we had an estimate at the Planning Commission, and that is, they're working toward the final plat application, I believe, for the October Planning Commission meeting. And sorry, I did not get a chance today to update these slides, so I'm reading them and then updating you on the fly. So with that said, we do recommend approval. Planning Commission also unanimously recommended approval of this, and either the applicant or I can answer any questions if you have them.
All right. We'll open the public hearing.
Did we introduce it yet?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Jay, Councilman Robinson. We'll open the public hearing at this time. Anybody from the public want to speak on this particular agenda item? Okay. Seeing none, we will close the hearing. All right. And we will allow this to lay over. It'll come back to us. Thank you, Hunter.
Got one more.
Oh, you want more? Okay. All right. All right, agenda item number 7 is the final adoption of an ordinance to amend the ordinance number 1253 to consider the requests from the City of Fairhope Planning and Zoning Department for various proposed amendments to the City of Fairhope zoning ordinance, specifically the medical overlay district.
And I think if somebody wants the long version of this, we talked about this at the last meeting, so it's recorded and the minutes are out. So I'm going to skip to the kind of red text here is the proposed amendment to the medical overlay district that would essentially allow Thomas Hospital to make their currently proposed changes and additions without being in violation. This has been talked about for quite a few months. And both the staff and the Planning Commission unanimously recommend approval of this amendment. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
No, we talked about this at NASM. Any questions, council, on this one? You make the
You need a
call?
motion and a second.
Oh, we haven't made
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay.
Place 1,
Aye.
Council President.
Aye.
Place 3. Place 4.
Aye.
Place 5.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Agenda item number 8 is an ordinance. Could someone introduce the ordinance, please?
I'll introduce it.
Thank you, Councilman Robinson. An ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise to Southern Light LLC for the purpose of construction and maintain a fiber optic transmission line within certain public right-of-ways within the city of Fairhope, Alabama, in accordance with the terms and conditions pursuant to franchise stated in ordinance. Okay. We spoke about this. I think the mayor spoke on this particular ordinance. These are just franchise agreements. They have been vetted and paid, from what I understand. Yeah, okay. We'll let it lay over. Yeah, okay. All right, agenda item number 9, that's another ordinance. Somebody introduce the ordinance, please.
I'll introduce it.
Councilman Robinson, thank you. This is an ordinance greeting a non-exclusive franchise to Unity Fiber Gulf Co. LLC for the purpose of constructing and maintaining a fiber optic transmission line within certain public right-of-ways within the city of Fairhope, Alabama, in accordance with the terms and conditions pursuant to franchise stated in the ordinance. We talked about all these to go together. These are all redundant. This is where we could probably have grouped them all together and made a unanimous vote on all of these 3, 4. Is where that would have worked as far as efficiency is concerned. And I think we started to do that and we stopped. We didn't think about it. That's my bad. Anyway, we'll let all these lie over. Ordinance number 10, agenda item number 10 is another ordinance. Someone introduce the ordinance?
I'll introduce that.
All right. An ordinance to amend the ordinance number 1513 and repeal ordinance number 1730, Article 3, Board to Advisors, Section 1 of the Fairhope Recreation Board bylaws, changing the planning jurisdiction to police jurisdiction. This is an ordinance we wrote and because we had people, I think we removed the planning jurisdiction, so we had to pull it back to the PD. We don't have a planner's jurisdiction anymore. So we'll let that one lie over as well. Agenda item number 11 is a resolution that the City Council authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute the agreement for the corporate maintenance of public right-of-ways with Cordy Cave Mitchell LLC.
And just want to clarify, there is a planning jurisdiction, we just don't have no enforcement there.
Well,
So, just,
yeah,
that's a technicality, but could be important one later.
Semantics, okay, you're right.
I do want to, the next two items are kind of tied together, so just to give you a quick update here. The area on the right is the only public right-of-way that the city will be accepting. We will be accepting public water lines within that, so easements within that property. There are two things within this right-of-way. The planting islands as well as the private sewer lines reside in a public right-of-way. So the first item, item 11, is the cooperative and maintenance agreement. So that basically they're going to be maintaining the landscape areas, and if they have to come in and repair the sewer lines, they're going to repave our streets and or sidewalks, whatever gets damaged. So that's just a brief explanation. Otherwise,
After 2 years or immediately?
this is ever.
Okay.
Now, there's our standard maintenance period of bonding.
Okay.
But the cooperative and maintenance agreements establishes that the owner of
Perpetual.
that
Yeah.
shopping center always has
Just
to
want to
maintain
clarify.
that.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So the second item in agenda 12, item 12, is the standard agreement, maintenance agreement that starts the 2-year maintenance bond window once the mayor signs.
All right, thank you, Hunter.
Yes, sir.
All right, get a motion and a second for number 11.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Agenda item number 12 is a resolution that the public improvements indicated herein for the Planters Point subdivision are hereby accepted for public maintenance, subject to the bond posted, and authorizes Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute the maintenance and guarantee agreement between the City of Fairhope and the Cordy Cave Mitchell 1 LLC. So this one goes in cahoots with number 11, as our director just spoke about. It's all one is the agreement, one is the cooperative maintenance, and one is the guaranteed maintenance or agreement.
Make the motion that they're accepted for public maintenance, subject to the bond.
Mhm. And that one's 2 years, usually. All right, I got a
Second.
motion. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 13 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection by Mayor Sherry Sullivan for professional engineering services, RFQ, for the review of traffic movements and intersection geometry at the intersection of Fairhope Avenue and Ingleside Street to Neil Schaefer, Inc., and hereby authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
I move to approve the selection.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We spoke about this in the work session. This is hiring the engineering company that has done some work on that particular intersection before to come out and give us an updated information on what we can do better and put the old information together with the new information and hopefully come up with a good plan. That's the vision. Anyway, all right, I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Worst intersection in town.
Yeah, well, you know, wish you would have knew it back then. All right. Agenda item number 14 is a resolution that the city council approves the selection of Mary Sherry Sullivan for professional engineering services for RFQ for a feasibility study for a new 114 acre park to Gonzalez Strength and Associates, Inc., and hereby authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
Move to approve the selection.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. That's exciting. I'm excited to have that being done. Agenda item number 15 is a resolution to award bid number 24053 to J. Payne Organization LLC for John Martin Nature Center with a bid proposal not to exceed $852,500. Okay. So we had a gentleman come up on this one. We had a bid process. Council, listen here with me. We had a bid process. Now we got a constituent coming from up during the public participation. During that, that's, I'm gonna, how,
I was not involved in the award of this contract, so I don't know what the deal is.
I'll give you the math, Council President.
yeah.
So the recommendation was to award the bid with the first option. It's not called option, it's called.
Alternate.
Alternate.
Yes, the first alternate. If you take the cost of both of the original bid and the first option, Payne is $45,000 less than Mr. Dias's bid. Mr. Dias said that if you add a roof, you'd only be paying $20,000 more, but that was to his bid, not total above what we were awarding. It would actually be an additional $65,000 more than the alternate one. So it's $65,000 more. He would be $14,000 less than Payne, but we'd be paying $65,000 for the roof. I see
So,
Professor Johnson nodding at me, so I guess my math is right.
yeah, so you, RJ, do you want to speak on this a little bit and let's see what, I mean,
Well, just simply put is that when you do a bid with additive alternates, in each case they're numerical, meaning the alternate number one was the additional porch, and looking at those two, that looked like that was the stopping point, because you're right. If you were to say, we want it all, wanting it all would be increasing the total amount that you would have to allocate by almost $65,000. And understand the covered porch and that element was very crucial to the operation and program of the Nature Center, meaning it provided additional meeting space, covered outdoor space underneath it. So when you look at it from a long-term use, adding that additional additive alternate was deemed a value to the programmatic use. The type of material on the roof was just an aesthetic. It doesn't make the building function any different, whether it has an asphalt roof or a metal roof. And that was the basis of our recommendation, is that the additional $65,000 to get all the base bid plus the two numerical additive alternates just did not seem to be cost effective.
okay, so let me clarify, because I think I just got the bell rung. We only did one additive alternate,
No, we had added alternate. One was the porch. The
right?
next one, number two, was upgrade to a standing seam metal roof.
Okay, so the gentleman, Mr. Dias, is asking us to use both, and then if we use both, then he would make the lower bid.
He would be lower, but we'd be spending
But we spend
$65,000 more than
$5,000
what we're recommending right
What we're
now.
recommending.
So-
Yeah. Do we need a tin roof? I mean, a fancy roof, or what's, I don't know the consensus on, I mean, regular roof is, it's fine.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Brother Johnson. Thank you. Council, do we need another roof? Besides, do we need to upgrade the roof? That money that we're willing to spend just to upgrade the roof? Or what? I'm asking.
Well, for 852, we're getting a new roof, right?
Yeah, we're getting a new roof,
We're
We're
single
getting an
rather than
asphalt roof
metal.
and not
Yeah.
a metal roof.
but a metal roof is just for aesthetic
Getting, you guys
purposes.
spend 65,000, I don't think that's worth it.
Right. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Any further discussion? So we'll leave it at is. All right, so I need a motion and a second for this.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? You got something, Councilman Burrell? Okay, all right. All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Agenda item number 16 is a resolution to award bid number 24056 to Chris Francis Tree Care LLC, a citywide tree maintenance annual contract, Public Works Department, for an annual contract not to exceed $96,000 total, contract amount not to exceed $288,000 for 3 years. Have a-
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 17, that the city council hereby authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute the ADEM resolution for designating official representative and to execute all documents related to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund project on behalf of the city. The mayor spoke on this, or
So
actually.
moved.
Yeah,
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So,
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Nay? I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Agenda item number 18 is a resolution that the city council authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to execute a contract for RFQ with Dewberry Engineering, Inc. to perform on-call professional engineering services to the water, wastewater department projects for 3 years, with a not-to-exceed contract amount of $95,000 yearly, total contract amount not to exceed $285,000 for 3 years.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? We spoke about this in the work session.
yeah, are they currently our on-call? Do we have an on-call right now?
Yes. Okay, very good. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 19 is a resolution that the city of Fairhope approves the award of requests for quotes for labor and material for the storm repair at 702 Cedar Avenue, Fairhope, Alabama, to Blade Construction for a not-to-exceed project cost of $65,557.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 20 is a resolution to award bid number 24061 to Consolidate Pipe and Supply Company, Inc. for 950 feet, 6-inch steel pipe for gas department with a bid proposal not to exceed $21,166.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 21 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection by Mayor Sherry Sullivan for professional engineering services for RFQ for 4 feet gas main replacement at 4 Creek locations to Volkert, Inc., and hereby authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council. I think Brother West came up and spoke on this.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 22 is a resolution that the Mayor, Sherry Sullivan, is authorized to execute an agreement between the City of Fairhope and Southern Light LLC for attachment of fiber optic cables, amplifiers, and associated equipment for the distribution of optical communication signals.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing
Make sure
none.
that We've got
Yep.
those poll rates are all up to date on this resolution. Okay.
We're going up, increase the rates.
Correct.
Okay. Excuse me. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 23 is a resolution that the Mayor, Sherry Sullivan, is authorized to execute an agreement between the City of Fairhope and Unity Fiber Gulfco LLC for an attachment of fiber optic cables, amplifiers, and associated equipment for the distribution of optical communication signals.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 24 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection by Mayor Sherry Sullivan for the professional engineering services for RFQ annual on-call consulting services annual contract for fire protection requirements to Gulf State Engineering, and hereby authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan to negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
So moved.
It's in the budget.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Eric's going to be very, very judicious with that.
Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 25 is a resolution that the City Council hereby approves and amends the rules and regulations for the Fairhope docks, specifically Addendum A, boat lift installation in Fairhope docks. Yeah, Pat spoke on this. Councilman Burrell and I were involved in this. We've read this. And our great counselor, Marcus, was involved. Appreciate your help, Marcus. Councilman Burrell. All right.
Make
I
a motion
move to amend
approve.
the rules and regulations.
All right, I have 2 amendments. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. All right. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 26 is a resolution that the City Council approves the selection by Mayor Sherry Sullivan for professional architectural services, RFQ, for additional and alterations to the Fairhope Stadium press box to Paul Carpenter Davis Architecture, PC. And here authorize Mayor Sherry Sullivan negotiate the not-to-exceed fee to be approved by council.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Is that going to about wrap up their stadium improvements for just a little while anyway?
Yeah, this one's been a long time coming, though. This is gonna be good. A lot of people, this is good for the community. Slow but sure, as they say in my world. All right. Slow but sure. All right, guys. Did I get a motion and a second?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Agenda item number 27 is a resolution that the City Council hereby establishes there will be no additional parades, races, runs, or rides except for the ones already established and on the books for the City of Fairhope. No requests may be made for any additional parades, races, runs, or rides to the mayor and/or city council, and the city council hereby authorizes and approves the proposed parade permit fee of $5,000 per parade beginning October 1st, 2025. That fee, we spoke about, the mayor spoke on this, is going up from $2,500 to $5,000.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So as somebody stated in the work session, you know, obviously, things change sometime in the future. I mean, there's no sunset on this, which is at first a little troubling. But then, if you think about it another minute, it's not so troubling because it would only take another resolution to authorize people to be able to apply for those events again, right?
That's exactly right.
Is that our wisdom on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, always. Yes. Yes.
And you know that although it says you can't ask the mayor or the city council, people are going to ask the mayor and the city council. You can't pass it and say you can't ask, because they're going to ask. We had another one like that.
It's similar to the fee waiver ordinance. We
Yeah.
say that you can't ask,
Yeah, you
but
can
you know
ask not
that,
to do that.
but you know they ask anyway.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
correct.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what we get all these big bucks for, huh? Oh, man. Okay. Where are we on this one? We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion, guys? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. All right. Agenda item number 28 is a request, Aaron Langley, Eastern Shore Repertory Theater required approval to use Henry George Park from April 23rd to May 5th, 2025 for the 12th Annual Theater on the Bluff to present Grease, one of my favorite movies, for the 3 public performances on the Bluff on May 1st through the 3rd. In addition, they request usage of the city's barricades and to have the city employees assist in the setup and removal of the barricades and permission to have vehicles in the park for the setup of staging, lighting, etc., and for food trucks to be available during the performance. Mayor, you good with all of that? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's, okay, very good. All right,
So moved.
all right, I have a motion
Second?
and a second for the request. All right, all in favor, say aye.
I knew you were going to do that.
What, it's not a vote? We won't have to vote? Oh, I did, I thought I asked for further discussion. Did I
Have
not
we,
ask?
have we allowed food trucks in the past?
Yeah, okay.
They sell concessions. They don't really have food trucks. I think they might do it at their sponsor night, or may have, are contemplating it last year, but we have not allowed, there has not been food trucks in the past. They've really only done concessions.
I mean, you know, we don't allow them in that part of town. And, you know, we try to protect our local businesses. They're going to be licensed. And, I mean, are we taking away from local businesses if we allow that?
Do we not consider them local businesses, though?
If they have
Well-
a business license, they do.
Yes, what I'm saying, yeah.
I mean,
They're not
they're not
paying
brick and
brick and mortar
mortar.
like the
Yeah,
people
they're
are.
not brick and
Yeah, but they
mortar.
still have
So
to come to it, don't they?
we've been careful about protecting the beachfront area downtown from food trucks, simply because there are brick and mortar, restaurants that are paying increased costs to have that storefront all the time. I understand, I guess, their reasoning, because a lot of people come in, they want to grab a pizza, they want to grab something while they're there, just to eat while they're sitting there. So I understand their rationale. I would love to see them work with local businesses who might have a food truck on the side, but, I mean, it's one of those things that you only really, in that area, have, people could walk in from town and grab something, but you really, if the Blind Tiger's open, they would have the Blind Tiger, they could go down there and walk back up the hill. Just kind of depends on, if you want to allow it or not.
And it's just creep. It's just
Yeah.
more and more and more. That's why I asked the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
We want this, we want this. We got people to set up barricades.
Well, that's why
I mean, you
first asked
can,
her,
you
I'm
can
like,
strike that part, and then they can just work with the local business to maybe have some boxes delivered that people could buy, charcuterie boxes or something like that. I mean, that's completely up to y'all. I have mixed emotions about it. I mean, I understand some of the logistics in wanting a food truck there, but I also, feel, that our restaurants that pay for that brick and mortar all the time ought to have that opportunity too. So,
getting
Yeah.
harder and
Yeah.
harder to survive downtown with rent increases, and
Yeah.
I want to protect them, those businesses, and no offense to the food trucks, but, you know, when you're not having to pay for dirt, it's a lot easier to do that.
How does the rest of the requests match up with what we've typically done in the past?
It's pretty similar, yeah.
Is it?
It is.
It just seemed like so much. That's why I was.
No, it's pretty similar, and they're really good stewards of the park. I mean, the vehicles they really just have like their lighting folks, their logistics folks come in and like drop off staging and stuff. They're really good about that, especially if we get rain. You know, they're careful with that. So there's nothing really new to this except for the food truck ask.
So what time is this event usually?
They usually don't start till about 7 o'clock, so it's late. I say
Do
late, it's
people
not
come out
late.
earlier?
They
Or
do.
just
They'll come out
early?
earlier.
So could we have a win-win situation to where the food trucks have a set time, and when it's dinner time, they go away, or I'm just talking out loud.
I just think to make it profitable for our food truck, they're going to want to be there
The whole
for,
time.
you know, 4 hours or
Probably.
however long it is. I just think you say yes or no and
I got you.
and move on. They will figure, if food trucks are, if we don't allow it, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, logistically, you're not leaving at the intermission to go uptown to go get something.
There's not
You're
enough
bringing it
time.
with you.
Yeah, you bring it with you. The other thing I worry about a little bit is they use that front parking on Magnolia for some handicap parking or drop-off. You know, those food trucks will take up a lot of space, and I definitely wouldn't want the
was my-
food trucks in the park.
Well, that was my
So that's
next-
some logistics that would have to be worked out too, because there's really nowhere for them to go unless they would go down to the pier area, and then you're competing with the Blind Tiger
Well,
if
in
they're
this,
open.
that's exactly what I was about to say, because in this, it asks for us to make room for them. So.
Yeah, I don't know where you would make room for them unless you did it in the park, and I don't think we want those food trucks in the park.
And you put her down at the bottom of the hill, and you're competing with a person that's paying a lot of money to lease that.
And there's really not accessibility at this point from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill, and we don't, you know, with the waterfront project starting again, you have the logistics of working around that construction also, which we're gonna try to do for everything else that we have planned, but.
Strike the food truck.
We'll just strike the food truck. Yeah, I mean, people eat, I'm just thinking right here, I mean, I think people can eat before, you know, and eat after.
Bring a picnic.
Bring a little thing, it's outside, so.
They've always served concessions, and it seems to work okay, popcorn and soft
So this is
drinks
new.
and
I
candy,
got you.
and
So
people
they'll
will,
try-
like I said, bring a pizza or bring, you know, something
Yeah.
from home, so.
They can have them delivered.
This is
Yeah,
new.
no doubt. Okay, we'll strike. So, Lisa, yeah, we'll strike. Do we need to make an amendment?
gotta amend the
Yeah,
motion,
we're
wasn't
gonna have to
it?
amend the motion because whoever made a motion.
I'll amend the motion to strike the food trucks.
Second.
Or amend my motion.
So we'll vote, all in favor for the amendment of the motion to strike food truck, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that motion carries. Now, we need another motion for the amended.
I move to approve the amended request.
Second.
I have an approved motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. All right. Agenda item number 29 is a resolution. This is correct, what you gave me here. No, oh, it's just a resolution. What?
I'll have to read it to you.
Oh, okay, good, okay, good.
Unless you want to try to read it.
No.
You won't read it, I
I'm
can
not
tell you
reading, yeah. God bless you.
All right, resolution declaring an emergency. Whereas the city of Fairhope has sustained catastrophic damage to the pump on well number 4 on August 12, 2024, resulting in the temporary loss of approximately 1 million gallons water capacity. Whereas City Council, due to the emergency mechanical issues requiring immediate action to avoid further damage to our infrastructure, is desirous of declaring August 12, 2024, catastrophic damage to the pump on well 4 as an emergency public works project pursuant to Code of Alabama 1975, Section 39-2-2, paren E, close paren, so that immediate repairs may be contracted to avoid additional damage to the infrastructure. And Whereas there is a need for the city to enter into various public works contracts to effect the repair of this critical public infrastructure in order to provide adequate health, safety, and convenience of the public without delay, and authorizes the mayor to execute the necessary contracts for immediate repairs with vendors and engineers. That should be struck. We're not hiring an engineer. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the city of Fairhope, Alabama, on August 12, 2024 as follows. City Council of City of Fairhope hereby officially declares the August 12, 2024 catastrophic failure of the pump, damage to the pump on well number 4, an emergency public works project. It approves soliciting informal bids for immediate repairs to prevent further damage to our infrastructure for materials and repairs, and authorizes the mayor to execute emergency contracts for general contracting, labor, and materials in an amount not to exceed $150,000. That will be adopted and approved on this 12th day of August 2024. Council further recommends the citizens of Fairhope immediately utilize Phase 3 water conservation measures to offset the temporary loss of capacity caused by the catastrophic damage to the pump. And then there's a signature.
I move what he said.
Second. Yeah, we're moving second. The biggest thing that we want to reiterate and stand on, the last of all of that instrument that he just read, is that we are asking, recommending that the citizens please go into a Phase 3, which means to not use your irrigation for at least a week, give us 7 to 10 days. We're asking for the betterment of our community and other citizens, including yourselves, to work together with us because of this particular structural damage that we have in our water system. So we're asking, we're recommending that you guys do that for us for a week.
That's what we're telling.
Yeah, so, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Resolution passed. Motion carries. All right. Public participation, you have 3 minutes. For the good of the order, anything not the agenda items. State your name, your address. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Jennifer Blackwood. I live on Brown Street here in Fairhope. Most of you before Rena McSherry would have never known who I was. This is the third time I have spoke to the council, or we have spoke to the council about the lack of prosecution in my domestic violence case from January of 2023. Because of this, in July of 2023, I filed a verified statement of claim along with a demand letter. As of July of 2024, I had received no response at all. And because of that, I decided to show up to your July 8th City Council meeting, where I was made aware by your council that they were not aware of my claim. This may be normal procedure, but from what I have learned, everything concerning McSherry never falls under normal procedure. On July 19th, I showed up to the city clerk's office to speak to them about why I had not only ever received a response from my statement of claim, but also from my demand letter. I had also filed a FOIA request around July 11th of 2024, which I had also, as of July 19th, I had never received a reply. I did not speak to, I think, Lisa, the city clerk. I spoke to the assistant city clerk, to be specific. She really had no answers except to tell me that everything was handled by Marcus McDowell. Approximately 4 hours after I left the city clerk's office, McDowell sent a PDF file to my what can be civil attorney dated February of 2024, denying my statement of claim. It also stated that this letter was sent certified mail. During my time with McSherry, I can tell you it was chaotic. My logic was gone. Being abused was nothing I'd ever imagined I'd go through, and I did not know how to deal with it. But I promise you, I never received a response, especially certified mail, about my statement of claim. Again, this verified nothing about anything relating to McSherry is handled under normal procedure. My time with McSherry was at minimum a nightmare from a Lifetime movie. If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Being victimized over and over again by the city has been detrimental, not only to me, but my family. It has been devastating. The guerrilla warfare campaign, smear campaign of my reputation has been horrific. And it all comes and is part of Rona McSherry's game. This is not his first time. This is actually his fourth time with a personal victim. I've spoke to all of them. He is a professional. He knows what he's doing. He is dangerous. I am a tax-paying citizen of this city and have been for 25 years. I chose this city because I spent my childhood with my grandmother on Weeks Bay. When I ran the city's streets of Fairhope, I never felt safer than I'd ever felt in my life. I knew this is where I wanted to raise my family. Crossing paths with Rona McSherry has destroyed all of my faith in not only the safety for me and my family, but for any future victims that fall victims to him. And it will happen again. I want to be on record that I have tried. I've done everything in my power, and I am a voice. 6 months ago, I could have never stood here. And even during the time that I was re-victimized in this courtroom in January of 2023, not allowed to have a voice, not allowed to have a witness. I was not treated like a normal domestic violence victim at all. There was nothing normal about how that was handled. And I have no doubt Marcus McDowell is a very competent attorney. I was told by more than one judge in this county that I'm very close to.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
My ask of you is that you remember me, because I'm not going away. After intensive therapy and my huge support system, I will not be ignored. I hope and pray every day that his next victim survives like me to have a voice, because I promise you I am lucky enough to be alive to speak to you today. By the faith of God, that's the only reason I'm alive. I hope you do what's right, and the next victim you protect with the blind justice that we all deserve.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
My name is Andrea Winter, and my husband Mike and I live at 558 Johnson Avenue, in between Brown and Mershon, behind the Ace Hardware. I'm here to speak on two issues that are kind of related, but I would like to start with our own residence issue first. We moved to Fairhope 6 years ago, and our house was built 12 years ago. We have had our share of issues with heavy rain, including Sally, but nothing like what we are experiencing now. Last fall, the neighbor behind our next-door neighbor cut down several 30 to 50-foot trees in his backyard. Since that time, the water runoff into our neighbor next door's yard and running down into our driveway has increased significantly, carrying debris and soil with it. The street behind us is Belangi that has no storm drains that we can see. the water comes across our driveway and hits our house and continues down the street. 6 months ago, we noticed our floors buckling in our dining room by the window next to our driveway. We tried to get a forensic engineer to come out and look at it, but no one was available or we couldn't afford the fees. Our insurance company recommended American Leak Detection to come out to inspect. Right before that appointment, we had our pest control company come out and check the area around the damaged flooring, and he found termites. We have a bond, so they treated this area. The termites had built a vertical mud wall up 2.5 feet to our flooring and behind the sheetrock behind our refrigerator. The spot is directly where the water is coming across our driveway and hitting the wall and going down the rest of our driveway. I have videos of all the water and the flooding, but I did want to talk about, too, the second reason is on July 2nd, which you probably are all familiar with, the bad storm we had flooded our neighbors' yards, as the only drainage system we have on our street is a culvert in front of our 3 houses at the bottom of the hill. And the water was 2 foot deep, and one of the neighbors couldn't even get off of his front porch, and his car had to be moved to higher ground. The city came out and saw it and promised to come back to do whatever needed to be done. I think the culvert's too small, but it was probably filled with debris as well. No one ever came back out. My question tonight is, what is Fairhope's ordinances regarding cutting down large trees? There are 2 homes going under construction right now, one at the corner of Brown, which is above us, and one at the corner of Mershon, which is above us, and they both are cutting down humongous pine trees to put these houses in. The trees have already been cut down at Mershon, but not at Brown yet. We're afraid that that water is going to start affecting our homes as well as we are at the bottom of the hill. Secondly, we see storm drains being put in all over Fairhope. I was wondering, when can we get storm drains put in, not only on Fairhope, on Johnson Avenue, but particularly on Belanger behind us, where that street is much higher than we are, and the water just comes down and decimates our yards. So, thank you.
So,
It's 558 Johnson Avenue.
yeah,
Okay.
the residential is, there is not.
There is none.
No,
Okay.
Not on residential, commercial.
Well, the reason why I
Commercial.
asked is up at Mershon, they cleared that lot there, which was heavily wooded. And then Fairhope Horticulture was out there twice, talked to, I guess, the contractors or the builder, and then 5 days later, they took all the trees down. So I didn't know what the ordinance was, but thank you.
There was some protected trees on that site.
Yeah,
because it
on the
was
new
closed.
development.
There was a magnolia tree in
Yeah.
the corner. But I will, if you'll send me up, we'll get
Sure.
your number and we'll follow up.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Public participation.
I want to make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Jay.